He said, "What's your ETA?" At 11:47 and 11:48, I had arrived. I was like, "Ooh, I know I got here just in time."
Yeah. If you get the "What's your ETA" text from me, I am seconds from heading home. And he arrived, and I watched him come into the room, and it was as if Barack Obama had arrived. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. People moved en masse towards you.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me.
Yeah.
Which, of course, you were.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oops the Podcast. Giulio Gallerati, joined by Francis Ellis.
Here we are.
Hello, Francis.
Hello, Francis.
How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. I had a wedding this over the past weekend. It was my girlfriend's sister's wedding. Big event, big weekend. Lot of fun, cool stuff. Really nice wedding too. Like pretty fucking fancy.
Wow.
It was really nice. It was in this really nice place in Brooklyn. It was such a great weekend, and they did such a great job of making a New York wedding a wedding, if that makes sense.
Cool.
There was like a ton of events and stuff, and we even stayed in a hotel.
What?
You know what I mean? Yeah. They made it. They made it a wedding in New York, which I would argue is hard.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the time what happens with weddings in New York is it just turns into an afternoon. And that's it.
My guess is that it's probably hard to make a wedding in New York a wedding if, as a guest, you live in New York.
Exactly. And
whereas somebody flying in from out of town is going to think, "Oh, this is a wedding."
Right. So, dude, something really interesting. So, during the best man speech, the guy, so the groom's Canadian, and a lot of his boys are Canadian, and they did this thing which I am going to now call the Canadian best man speech.
Okay.
And you know what it is? You give an example of something, and then you're like, "Isn't that right, Dave?" And Dave stands up in the back of the room and says some shit.
Is Dave is another groomsman?
Yeah, somewhere.
Not the groom.
Not the groom.
Not
the groom, and not the best man. Some other guy who's watching the speech.
That's
and
cool.
He has multiple people littered through the room who are involved.
That is cool.
I've never seen that before.
That is cool.
I'm calling that the Canadian best man speech. It takes a village.
Was this not? Were they not unique in doing that?
I've never seen that before.
No, I know, but did you ask him, is this the way things are done in Canada? Or did you guys just come up with that?
I didn't ask him that. I assumed there's no fucking way. That's just how they do it.
We need to figure that out.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
Because if they invented that for that is one of the most revolutionary and wonderful things. It's like a big Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Except more fun.
Dude, yeah, it was really fun and funny. And these guys go way back. I think that always says something about somebody when like they've been boys with the same guys for so many years. Mm-hmm. And his dad was telling me this. So they all wanted to go to the same business school in Canada together, but like it was hard to get into. So they were all on the same page being like, guys, we need to do really well in school so we can stay together.
Oh my God.
And they all got in. Whoa. And went there together.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like some shit like that. And the guy, Steve, is a great dude. Like really sweet, sincere guy.
This is my brotherish-in-law?
Yeah, I don't know what the official title would be.
Your pending brother-in-law?
Yeah, right, yeah. But I did get by the way, dude, wow. The maid of honor speech too. Hill Dog fucking rocked it.
Yeah?
Hill Dog and her sister gave the speech together. It was so funny. So good.
Nice. Did she cry?
A little bit of crying. Really, dude, zingers.
Need that.
She crushed. So funny.
Did you help her at all?
No, not at all.
She didn't even want any help?
No, like she ran one or two things by me, and I don't even remember her doing that. That's how little she...
Do you wish that she had asked you for more help?
No, I don't care.
Well, you're a professional comedian. Seems like, you know.
I know, but apparently she didn't need the help at all because she was really good, dude. Really
nice.
Funny.
That's good. I'm glad you weren't bothered by that.
No, I was also even just kind of like, damn, like... She's like better at this than I am. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck?
Oh no.
But then at one point her sister like called me out. She's like, no pressure. Like, and everyone was like, ooh. And I just did like I did a very safe reaction. I didn't do too much. I didn't do little. I just went.
Nice.
Just put my hands up and.
Nice. Nice. That is, by the way, that is kind of a signature Julio move.
Yeah.
That look. That's a kind of a signature move. It's a bit of a signature.
So, dude, it was a big weekend for me, and so I was filming a show, which I think I can talk about it, but I don't know, so I'm not going to. But whatever, you guys, the cat will be out of the bag on that soon enough.
Big deal.
It's not that big of a deal.
Big deal.
I'm in an episode of an upcoming show.
Of a big show.
I got to do some really fun shit, which I'll talk more about when I know for sure I'm allowed to. Anyway, so I shot all day. I threw on my suit. I rushed to like the rehearsal party thing. Unfortunately, missed the dinner, which I obviously didn't want to, but didn't have any choice. Like I can't, unfortunately, you don't get to, as you know, dictate your schedule for some of these shoots and stuff. So I get there, and going into this weekend, I was like, you need to pace yourself because you have the wedding Thursday. Or sorry, you have rehearsal dinner stuff Thursday, wedding Friday. Saturday, there's like another party for the wedding, like whatever. Then I have like obligatory parties I need to go to, 2 parties I need to go to. One of them is a going away party. The other one I'm meeting up with all Frankie Flowers over here.
Oh boy,
which
I didn't know you had all of that.
And I had a show that night, and then Sunday I had 2 shows with you again.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
I would never have made it.
Dude, so I'm like, dude,
even hearing this is giving me anxiety.
Dude, so I'm like, what do you do? Like, what do you do in that situation? Like, you got to pace yourself. And what do I do? Thursday night, I get blasted, dude.
Might as well.
Fuck. And then it was just like having to like, all right, we could do this for the rest of the weekend, you know? But it was a really fun time. I'm glad I made it through unscathed. But
yeah. Let's talk about the party
I know
that we went to together.
So many fun things about this party. Dude.
This was incredible.
So I got invited to this party by Francis's friends.
Yes, but this is this is the magic of Julio. This is the magic of Julio, the magic man. Because I didn't tell my friend to invite him. My friend just invited him, which means he is your friend.
Right, no, he is. I do.
And a lesser man might get jealous.
You?
Yes.
Really?
I'm saying I didn't.
Oh, interesting.
Because all of my friends have now become your friends, and you talk to them and hang out with them, independent of me. And
you bring up an interesting thing, though, because that kind of shit doesn't make me jealous at all. I love it, and like some people really love it, but some people do get jealous.
Yeah.
And I would like to understand that more. It doesn't sound like you'd be one to be able to explain it.
I think there's I don't know. I actually couldn't explain it.
Yeah.
Because I don't experience it. But frankly I take pride, which may not be good either.
No, that is
I
good.
take pride in how much my friends like you and how much you like my friends. Because, and I said this to you, because it makes me feel like I have decent matchmaking taste. That I'm not the guy who told all my buddies, like, you gotta meet this guy. He's the fucking man.
And then nobody liked
And then
it.
that guy came in and everyone hated him.
Right.
But in fact, I was correct. I was like, you guys got to meet this guy. You're going to love him. I don't even know if I said that. I knew you would just win.
That's very nice.
I had no doubts. I didn't even need to prep it. I didn't need to fluff you up.
But I see what you mean. There's a few scenarios where like that is a win for you, where it's like we took a chance on doing this pod together to a degree because like while we were obviously friendly and like knew each other, we weren't like boys. You know what I mean? So like there was a chance that might not work. So further from that. It did, right? We enjoy it. And I get along with your friends, which makes that even more of a thing that you picked somebody right.
Yes, but you know what's so funny is very early on, I think I told you that I had told an important person in my life, I think I can just say it, my agent at the time, that I was thinking of doing a podcast with you.
Who, by the way, is now one of my agents.
Yeah. And I said, I think I'm going to do a podcast with Giulio Gallerati. Do you know him? And he goes, yeah, Giulio's awesome. He goes, I think he said something like, he's a little bit of a socialite. As though that was a mark against you. And that, to me, was the most ringing endorsement he could have given you without meaning to, because that to me meant like, oh, this guy is not just a club rat comedian.
Right.
You know, this is a guy who goes around town, knows how to have a good time, has friends outside of comedy, like fits in lots of different circles, which I consider myself to be as well.
And the reason why that type of person will sometimes get a bad rap in comedy is because somehow they're like corner cutters. Like the socialite comedian, somehow, this is the profile. They have rich parents.
Yeah.
They have this like entitled confidence that like most people don't have because they're not in any way deterred by authority. So those two things plus like connections, they can somehow like skip a couple steps, but they always end up hitting a wall. Because if you're not funny in comedy, you just can't. It's not possible. Correct. So like they either stick with it and then they earn everybody's respect, or they end up transitioning into doing whatever the other hot thing is at the time.
Yeah.
Being a DJ or fucking starting a VC thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm not that person, but like he'd probably seen pictures of me like with people who look like that, and I understand why he made that judgment.
Yeah.
But not the case. I do not fit that description.
And I told you that at the time, and you know what a
so funny.
Perfect sort of foreshadowing. I mean, your socialite, you know, let's break that down. It's like social is the root of that, and it is truly your social skills that have, I think, more than our chemistry in the podcast have bonded us as friends far beyond the work that we do together. Mm-hmm. And you have been so well received and by my friend group that you're getting invited to these Christmas parties without independent of me. And when you texted me, hey, are you going to this party? I was so excited. I was so excited that you were going. And I was there, and I was having a really bad day.
Really?
Earlier in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if you told me.
Probably worst day I've had in a while in terms of just my psyche.
Oh, you were just feeling down?
I was very down.
Had you been drinking the night before? Does that affect your mood?
Sometimes it does, and I don't always realize it, but it almost certainly does. But
I think as it does to anybody. Honestly.
Yeah, but I was very down. I think it was a result of all the Fox News stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I had just been, I've just been getting a lot of.
Which, by the way, we haven't directly talked about on this episode, on the show yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of old news at this point, which is good.
I'll just give a quick summary. If you haven't been aware, I was caught talking on a microphone in a Barstool show about my experiences appearing on Fox News, and I had sort of said that I wasn't sure I felt good about them anymore, and I sort of said because I didn't think I said some bad things about Fox News basically, and that it was divisive, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to be associated with that anymore. And that audio got released by accident, and then it got written about in a lot of articles, and it became a big story. And I think part of that was because a lot of these news outlets mistook me for either being an actual employee of Fox News
or being like an actual conservative pundit.
Yeah, as though this was some spicy thing where like I had shown my true colors, whereas the truth was
you're just being funny.
I'd never given any indication that I was a conservative, or nor had I didn't get paid for those.
You gave no indication of any sort of political affiliation.
Nor did I ever ask to go on. I was like, sure, yeah, I'll come on and fuck around, and then so I didn't anyway. And for what it's worth, I don't want to give my true colors in either direction, and I feel that if I had been doing some, Rachel Maddow show or something that on the left for CNN, it's entirely possible that I would have gotten caught saying equally negative things about that. I just don't really want to be part of any political tug of war or conversation. I don't want to be co-opted for a cause. I'm just here to be funny. Nobody should be taking anything that I say particularly seriously. That is the point. I'm a glorified clown. okay? And I don't want, we do our best. We offer insights here, Julio and I. I'm not going to speak for you. We sometimes say things that I think help people or have relevance to their lives, and I hope that's great. And we've gotten great messages as a result of that. But I would advise anybody who, especially with me, is taking anything I say as like insight or value or lesson, careful. I don't know shit about shit. And that should be evidenced by the absolute roller coaster of my own life. I constantly make mistakes. We talk about it all the time. Once again, I have punted the hornet's nest. Through my own stupidity.
I've punted the hornet's
nest. As silly as this thing it was, and as silly as it should never have happened, I still said crazy shit with a microphone on my person in front of cameras. And that's stupid.
Yeah. Well,
that's
I think
stupid.
Everybody in this building learned a very valuable lesson that day, which is if you don't want it to make the final cut of the episode, just don't say it to begin with.
Don't say it. If you don't want people to hate you, don't talk shit about them, whether you
Shout
know
out
they're
to Chris
now.
and Ryan,
Yeah.
by the way. Batting an extremely high average in that department.
They are. So, anyway, it's been quite a saga. It's a weird story where it keeps playing out. It's like different parts of the world are hearing about it at different times. Typically, first of all, the fact that it was a story at all baffles me because, again, I just don't think that anyone should give a flying fuck what I have to say about politics. I'm a comedian. I'm not a political comedian, right? But secondly, a new article gets written from one side or the other each day. So here we are well after the fact, and it's sort of still spooling out, and I keep waiting for it to die down, and then something else will happen. But that was why I had a shitty day on Saturday. It was because I was getting a lot of very violent messages from people who disagreed with my thoughts, my private, intended to be private thoughts on Fox News. And, you read them, and it just is a real bummer.
Yeah.
And I was kind of scared. So I didn't really know that I wanted to go to this party anymore. And I had been really excited about the party. I really was. Last year I went, and it was like one of my favorite parties of the year. These are very dear friends of mine. I knew you were going. I was super jazzed. It was the thing of the weekend. And then Saturday rolled around, and I was down. I took a nap, thought that would help. It actually kind of made me more low energy, weirdly.
Always a risk.
Yeah, and then we got dressed up, and we went to our very dear friends, our neighbor's place, whom you know, to have a pre-party cocktail. They were going to the party as well, and we're sitting there, and Sierra looks incredible. She's shining. She's in a gown of some kind.
Francis looked amazing too, by the way. I'm sending you boys the video. Did I already send you guys the video? I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
It's in the chat already.
Yeah, we were all dolled up, and we're sitting there, and they were making Negronis, and they were making Negronis with mezcal. And the
Turn up.
wonderful woman, our friend, was like, "Would you like one?" And I said, "I'll have one with gin, because I like the gin Negroni." And she goes, "Oh, we don't have any." And then I went over to their liquor thing, and I just didn't see anything that I wanted. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna drink. I'll just have a Spindrift, a sparkling water. And people were like bummed.
Yeah.
Because that was sort of the start of my showing that I was not in a great place.
Right. Like, this is the Francis we're getting tonight.
Like, if Fran is not having a Cocker Spaniel ahead of a party that we're all looking forward to.
This isn't happening. Oh, this is Francis. You excited, Francis? Oh. If you're not getting this, you do this. Oh,
is that my move?
Punches upward. You do that. Yeah.
All right, good.
None of those.
Yeah, I was not in a good spot.
What time is this when this is the?
That
happening?
must have been 8 o'clock.
Okay.
8 p.m.
Okay.
So we had
So you guys got there early.
No, we're at my friend's apartment.
Before.
For I don't want to call it a pregame, but a cocktail before we go to the party.
Got it.
Loosen the strings a little bit.
Yeah, love it.
And I'm getting quieter and quieter and withdrawing into myself, and people are aware of it, and I'm not really sure if I'm doing it for attention or if I'm truly just that down. But I find myself darkening.
Yeah.
Just the clouds rolled in.
The dark.
And people get up and say, okay, we should probably get going. Let's call an Uber. And I said, I just don't know that I can do this. I don't know that I can.
Wow.
I don't know that I can do this tonight.
Wow.
And Sierra looked at me and she said, really? And I said, yeah. And she goes, okay. And she said okay in a way that broke my heart.
Yeah. She'd given up.
Into
this is the last straw.
4 million pieces. And I looked at her just sparkling like a fucking disco ball. And I said, I can't do this to her.
Yeah.
I have to figure this out.
Nice, dude.
And I said, you know what? Let me run home, take the puppy out, smoke a little joint, and see how I feel. And everyone was like,
let's go.
is he back?
He's back.
Is he back? Because people know me. Usually when I'm not in, there's no chance I'm in. And I went home. I did that. I threw a little gel in my hair because I hadn't done that because I didn't think I was going to go, even when I got dressed initially. I came back and I was like, let's go. And it was awesome.
Hell yeah.
We went. We had a great time. I was up for it. And we got there at like probably 9:30. It was fucking great. Having a good time. Talking to a lot of different people. Having a nice time. But I'm texting you. And I know you're coming at some point.
Yeah.
And it got to about 11:30. And I was like, man, I'm getting a little tired.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know. I can look at the actual timestamp of the text just out of curiosity. It may have been that late. So this is the thing. I wanted to come earlier.
Yeah.
But two of our like best friends are moving next week. So I had to go to their thing.
Yeah.
And I knew that wasn't going to go super late. So I was like, I'm going to go to that. Then I'm going to go to my show. Then I'm going to go to this party.
Nice.
By the way, I showed up to that party. It was like a karaoke room situation. I know we talked about that last episode. But I was sober, showing up to like 2 hours deep into the karaoke room. It is like you are entering the other side.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
That's
people fucking hammered.
That's unusual.
So anyway, sorry. So
it's
I
like that
text
dance party you showed up to where you just hammered those
yeah,
drinks.
Yes. And I'm just standing there. What's up? What are you guys up to? Dude, that was so embarrassing, man.
Yeah.
Fuck. I just forgot. I realized I text Francis so much that it might be hard for me to find this.
we text a lot.
It's gonna take a while. Anyway, it started getting late. I get the text from Francis. Do you want to tell?
Man, I'm looking at this conversation. I'm just sorry that I don't respond more.
Dude, you're fine, dude.
It's not.
No, that sounds a way that is not accurate.
You're right. You're right.
That makes us both sound bad, and it is not the case.
Yeah.
Francis is not like a big texter, and I will pound a person with texts. I do that.
He's a pounder.
So like we like work around our styles. Okay, so Francis. Okay, he goes.
At what time did I say, "Hey, what's your ETA?"
He said, "Oh, you're right, dude. 11:47."
Like a thirsty boy waiting for the booty call.
At 11:30, I texted him the package is en route. He said, "What's your ETA?" At 11:47 and 11:48, I had arrived. I was like, "Ooh, I know I got here just in time."
Yeah, I said
because I know
that,
he's losing steam.
If you get the "What's your ETA" text from me, I am seconds from heading home.
Yeah.
And he arrived, and by that point I was sitting down, which I do.
On like a radiator.
I was sitting on a radiator behind a pillar in this apartment, and I watched him come into the room, and it was as if Barack Obama had arrived. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. People moved en masse towards you. There was this magnetism, and the hellos were so warm. Everyone, look who's here! Yeah! You know, when someone of that caliber arrives that late at a party, ooh. That can add a whole new set of batteries to the party. brand new spanking AA batteries just
That's
injected
very
into the party. So
That's very nice, dude.
you came in and I watched you. You didn't know where I was.
I couldn't find you.
I saw you from the second. I clocked you from the second you walked in. And I said to myself, I'm going to just watch this. I'm going to just enjoy this. I'm going to watch him enter the room. And you worked your way around, saying hello to so many people. Keep in mind, these are like technically my friends. This is not a group of people that Julio knew prior to meeting me, with like one exception.
Two exceptions. But yes.
And I'm just smiling so hard I think my chin is gonna split. And I'm so happy. It's making me so happy to see him and to see him just be so embraced. And it's fun to watch a very dear friend of yours when they don't know that you're watching them. And I just watched him kind of work his way, and then finally he spotted me. Yeah. And that was like, fuck
there
yeah.
He is.
Here we go.
There he is.
Yeah, it was really great. And then we had some really funny moments.
Dude, it was a really fun night. So this is my mark of like a good party is when you really like sink your teeth into the party and like multiple plot lines are like fully unfolding around you. Mm-hmm. You're part of them. You're not part of other ones. It's just like a really fun. And this was one of those nights. This is one of those nights that like deserves a recap. We can't talk about everything.
No.
But there are some things we can talk about, including guess who happened to randomly be there? The girl who I ran into at 6 a.m. in the Delta Lounge.
Yeah, the one.
Oh, my God.
The girl who you said, you don't know who I am anymore, do you?
Oh, man.
That girl was there.
And she was equally sort of like, okay, about...
Yeah, so Julio's talking to her, and I sort of wandered. I was near them, and G pulls me over, and he goes, dude, this is that girl that I talked about on the podcast. Which, without context.
I had already told her that.
Oh, you had?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but
right.
still... Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, no way, what? And G and I were laughing about it. It was a very funny moment, and she wasn't buying.
She didn't give a shit
any of what we were selling.
She didn't. Yeah.
She was like, yeah, 6 a.m.
She has a little bit of a dry personality.
I was tired.
Yeah, she's like, why did you do that?
Yeah, it's tired. That's how she said it. She's like, it's 6 a.m. at LaGuardia. At the Delta Lounge, you silly goose. She didn't want it. She wasn't
At the
having
Delta
it.
Lounge. Yeah, she definitely didn't give us much from an audience perspective.
Yeah.
But I was sincerely apologetic. I'm like, I don't know why I did that to you. I'm sorry.
And then she sort of just drifted away in a cloud of indifference.
Yeah.
Leaving us to look at each other like, man, are we the only people who find each other funny? Is it just us?
Yeah, she's not the most validating.
No. But that's okay.
Yeah, what are you
She's
gonna
not going to listen to this, and we know that because she didn't hear it the first time. We're safe.
We're good, dude. That's great.
She didn't pick up Oops the Podcast because she's like, they fucking talk about me on that show. So that was funny. Then we were talking to somebody else at the party who we both know.
Well, we're getting updates from this person, and I'm just kind of like, update number 1, oh, okay. Update number 2, oh, okay. Update number 3.
I can't believe how little of this story you're telling. I didn't know
There's
it
much
was
more?
possible. No, to just give that few details.
No, but then, okay, but...
I didn't think this was a story we could tell.
Okay, but I think it might be. So then I ask about this person's relationship. And I'm like, and it's, it's like it's a relationship that just appears to be this like really solid, like serious relationship or whatever. And I'm like, how's the relationship? And the person is like, well, like little do they know, they might be single in a few days. And as a reflex, I just go, yeah. Then I went, wait, what? And Francis just fucking died, dude.
Hold on. The way I remember it, which is why your reaction was so funny to me, was that they said, little do they know that in a few days, leading us to believe that something positive was going to happen.
On New Year's or something, or Christmas.
Yeah.
You're right.
They're going to be single.
Right.
And we both were nodding along,
Got it.
preparing to congratulate them
on engagement
for this wonderful news. And you heard the actual thing, which is that they're going to be single and this relationship is ending. And you went, yeah. What? And I fucking lost it.
It was
It's
so
like
funny.
something out of a movie. Whoa, what? And you had caught how absurd it was. What a left turn. It wasn't what we expected at all.
I know.
And it was really, really funny.
But dude, I call bullshit on that. Like they very well may end up being completely healthy and fine.
I'm
Maybe
sure
it was
that is exactly what will happen. But it was a very funny thing to witness together.
yeah.
It's funny for us to simultaneously recognize something absurd
Yeah, it's fun.
and to have the same opinion on it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, at one point in the party, it appears that the party had died down and like it was about to be done or whatever. So we're all deciding we're going to walk out together. You guys get in an Uber first. I kind of like figure out what I'm going to do.
And that was at 1:30, by the way. Julio's arrival extended my time at the party by 2 more hours. And I was ready to go. I was exhausted. I said I did so well. I didn't even want to come. And now he's here, and I stayed till 1:30 in the morning, which is a fucking marathon for me.
So as I was walking out, I noticed that everybody had just kind of moved into the karaoke room.
Yep.
And at that point, I was like, oh, man, I wish that I didn't decide to leave. Like, I'm ready. I could have definitely let it rip for a little bit longer, but...
I feel bad then that,
No.
that I might have...
no, my night didn't fully end at that moment anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
You went somewhere else?
Yeah, I did. I had a couple nightcaps after that.
Nice.
Um,
wow, you had a big... How late were you out?
Late.
Come on. How late? Are we
Late.
talking Little Sass late?
I mean, I definitely didn't see the sunrise. Like, I was at like establishments that permit drinking legally still. Like, I got home before. I didn't like shut the bar down, but it was late. Probably
4?
3. I probably got home.
You got home... it's not that bad.
3:30.
Oh, that's...
Something like that.
Getting spicy.
And dude, I went to bed.
3:30 is spicy.
I took Advil. I woke up. I felt pretty good, and then I remembered. And then I had a bunch of like social obligations on Sunday that I was fine for too, but like I knew it was coming. And then around like 6, I was like, oof, I need to like get on stage now because if I do that, then I'll have a little bit more juice.
Yeah.
But like going into like Sunday night shows, I was a little bit like, ooh, baby.
Sunday night shows, we had 2.
The worst.
It was hard.
I'll only do them for like really good shows or like if I'm on the road, but like
Yeah.
your shows or like Knitting Factor. There's
Yeah.
only a couple things where I will do a Sunday.
It was my show with Ashley. We had Julio on, but we did 2 of them. Stay humble.
They're great.
And great shows. Thanks to everyone who came out. But my God, getting the energy up on a Sunday night for comedy and knowing that I was going to be there till 11:30
Yeah.
was hard.
No minor task.
After a 1:30 2 a.m. night myself, which so rare for me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I remember like Sunday, and I'm trying to enjoy December because it deserves being enjoyed. And on Sunday, I was like, man, I'm gonna probably need a break from drinking or whatever. But tonight, I got a fundraiser.
Nice, nice.
The Afghanistan stuff, guys, gotten included in a little like local fundraiser thing, which is really nice because the second installment of money needs to go to them next month. So this is like the perfect gap financing.
That's awesome.
Thing. So I'm excited. But yeah, dude, sometimes you just gotta let it rip, man.
Yeah.
'Tis the season.
I really think that at this time of year is a very heavy drinking time. And if you can just force yourself to take 1 or 2 nights off a week, so you're not stringing together 5-6 nights of drinking, it's good.
Yeah, totally.
And it's funny because at the shows, I said something to you. You were like, "Are you having a drink tonight?"
Oh yeah.
And I apologized.
Oh yeah, dude.
I was like, "I'm not. I'm sorry." And you were like annoyed with that, rightfully so.
That you said sorry?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't care. I was just curious.
You were like, "You don't have to. What are you doing? No, you don't have to apologize. Like I'm not having one. Like I wanted to see if you were. If I had to, I would." And the reason I apologize is that I like drinking with you so much that any time, and that's the other thing. Anytime I'm like, "Are you having a drink?"
Yeah.
You're like, "I wasn't planning to." Are you? And if I say yes, you will ride with me.
100%.
You will never make me drink alone.
Never.
So for me to be like, because I figured that's what was coming from you,
Yeah.
and I hated telling you,
Oh, that's funny.
I can't have a drink
That's
tonight.
funny. I could have been coerced, and I thought that maybe having one would like help me somehow.
Yeah.
But I ended up being very glad that I didn't.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Well, I have a new idea
Okay.
that has kind of hit me, which I think is something. This has been a long time coming, but I've decided that I don't think there's really a difference between saving and spending all of your money. There's no difference.
But is the spending going toward the business or something? Like, because I could see like an entrepreneur saying that.
No, I think it's just personal life. I'm at this point now where I've spent the last 3 months of my life saving money with a discipline that I have not had, I don't think, ever in my life.
Interesting.
Not ever.
Crazy.
Not since I was like 7 years old and I was making $1 a week.
So are you saying that like somehow that hasn't affected your lifestyle?
I'm saying that even saving as much money and not giving in to urges or desires and being very careful, I have as much money saved now, or I have so little money saved now that
I see what
the
you're saying.
difference between me living this way versus going into Moncler or buying a new pair of boots or going out to nice dinners all the time and just living a great life is negligible.
Interesting.
And I'm so I feel stupid. I feel stupid because of this.
So have they been painful austerity measures though? Like, do you find yourself having the urge?
Not really. It's not so much that. It's that even in these months where the first month that I saved, I had the lowest credit card balance that I've had to pay off that I've had since the pandemic, since we were living in Maine with no expenses,
Love to see
basically.
it. Love to see it.
And I thought, wow, that wasn't as hard as I thought. Why has this been impossible to do in New York for all these years? And then this month, I did the same thing, which is that I didn't really spend much money, but I got hit with my semi-annual car insurance payment. I got hit with, I had a really big grocery bill.
You also get hit with the membership credit card membership fees.
I got hit with the membership credit card fee. And all of a sudden my balance is ballooned, and I'm like, well, I didn't buy anything.
Yeah.
And yet the number is the same. So I can't avoid it.
Do you budget at all? Like, do you have like a tentative budget?
I think what I would say to that is the sort of summary conclusion to this whole thought of mine.
Okay.
Which is that whether or not I save as much money as possible or spend not like a complete lunatic, but spend without worrying that much, I always seem to just barely pay my rent and pay my credit card bills and start the next month over.
No matter what. Yeah.
And it's like that realization where I'm like, well, what's the fucking difference?
Right.
Then I might as well have a little fun.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I like that for you. I'm serious, dude. Whatever, fuck it. And the only reason I'm asking about the budgeting thing is because, well, for two reasons. But first of all, I do it, but I'm not strict.
What does it mean to budget? Tell me what you mean exactly, how that works for you.
What do I have to spend money on this month? What do I have to?
You
spend
you look ahead to the things you have to pay for.
Yeah, so it could be it's like rent, right? Electricity. But then if there's other things, like for example, I have 3 big weddings coming up next year.
Oof.
So I've decided that I'm going to start saving for them.
Wow, that's really forward thinking.
So anyway, but whatever. I put, X amount a month toward it. And I'm like, by, May, when these weddings are actually right around the corner, hopefully none of these expenses will have like crushed me because I've been like chipping away at them. So like this month I booked a couple of the flights, and there's a dollar amount that I put away, but like if it's possible to execute buying things in advance, that I do. So I don't know, whatever. So there's that. Then, so whatever. If I'm saving money for stuff like that, then like Christmas gifts, that'll get budgeted in.
Yeah.
So then I just have this like rough number, and like I undercut a lot of the things, like the food budget. Like I spend 5 times more. I'm not like strict to it, but that number this month for me was the highest that it's ever been.
Your food budget?
No, the overall how much money I should be budgeting, including savings and like all that shit, was the highest number I've ever had in a single month.
I'm really impressed that you do this. Do you do this on Excel?
No, just notes.
Jesus Christ.
It's not like it's not that like sleek or organized, but it gets the job.
By the way, if you're wondering who runs the numbers for our podcast, it's Julio. And every month he sort of sends me the breakdown, and I say it's as if he's done a magic trick. I tell him, "Do you know how many hours it would have taken me to figure that shit out?"
I don't think it would have taken you that long. I think that the difference is that somehow that task gives you anxiety, and it doesn't give it to me. A task that gives you anxiety, it's amazing how difficult it is to just do it versus something that doesn't. For me, it is video editing. Just sitting down is just so hard.
Yeah.
Which I commend you to, Chris and Ryan, for how often you're doing it.
Well,
it's not
if
easy.
you were truly getting paid for it, I'm sure it would be easier.
Could be true.
But that's, I've learned, by the way, because I use that excuse a lot in my life now.
Which one?
Well, I so often look at these Hollywood actors who do these body transformations, right? And you look at someone who becomes a Marvel Avenger.
Like Kumail was in The Office.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking shredded.
And people say, my God, that's amazing. And then my immediate thought is, well, if a fucking movie studio was paying me $10 million to be in a movie and giving me a personal trainer, and my only job for 6 months leading up to it was to just get in as good shape as I possibly could. Right. Yeah.
Money is a great motivator.
I could do that, or I could lose 60 pounds and look emaciated if I had to. I'd have the discipline with that check waiting for me, contingent upon the body transformation happening. Mm-hmm. And I now realize that I extend that even to people I know who, I look at people I know and I say, my God, they work so hard. It's incredible how hard they work, how many hours they put in, how dedicated they are to their job, to learning new things and ascending the ranks of their corporate ladder, or, the fact that they interview on the side just for the sole purpose of reminding their company how desired they are, right? All these things. And then I say to myself, well, they make 10 times more money than I do. And if I were making that amount of money, I would probably be able to do that too. And I think that that's a little bullshitty.
Right. What came first? The attitude or the payday?
They make that much money because they've been that committed all along.
It's part of it, but it can't be the whole thing. I think it's a little bit of both. And I do actually think you are a person who actually could if the payday was there. You're clearly disciplined.
Do what?
You're disciplined with your diet. You're disciplined with exercise.
That I could do.
I know, but I'm saying
if someone was like, yo, if you can make $3 million a year if you learn the stock market.
Dude, you could.
Something would happen where I would be like, I just see a butterfly halfway through and be like, oh, I'm going to go chase that.
Right. I mean, dude, I don't know. But the stuff that you described before, like the body transformation stuff, I would bet on you. I would bet on you.
Yeah. No, I actually do think I could do that because I've done a smaller version of it before. Mm-hmm. And if you had steroids, I wonder how jacked I could get on steroids. Would you ever do steroids?
Why doesn't anybody admit that they're doing it?
Because there's such a stigma about it.
But if you have a fuck ton of money, I've talked to doctors and shit, they're like, if you take HGH under supervision and you're spending enough money and blah, 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 there's virtually no risk. That's what I've heard.
Yes.
And you have to imagine some of these fucking guys who are obviously on them probably are doing that, right?
Without a doubt. We all know it.
I would take it, dude.
I think the problem, dude, is that baseball made steroids so frowned upon.
I know,
It's
but they were
become
cheating.
A buzzword for a synonym to cheating. The steroid era, Barry Bonds is so reviled, Mark McGwire, all the home runs, all that stuff. And the truth is that fucking, Chris Evans taking steroids or Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine is not cheating.
Right.
It's the only way. We want Wolverine to look that way.
These guys are 45 years old.
We want them to look. We want The Rock to look that way.
Yeah.
And so, do whatever you gotta do.
Totally.
You're not holding someone else back from that role who is being more honest and doing it the old-fashioned way without steroids.
Totally, dude.
I have no problem with it. I wish there was a kid I knew.
We should endorse steroids.
Yeah. Well,
take steroids, but responsibly.
I wish there was there was a kid I knew in college who was a wrestler, and he was very, very small, a very small guy. I mean, he was 5'4",
I remember guys like that.
and
in high
he
school
maybe
too.
120 pounds. You know, he wrestled at in some weight class that I didn't even know existed.
Right.
It was crazy, but he was medically prescribed HGH.
Oh, as a kid.
Yeah,
Guy on my tennis team, same thing.
because his body
Wasn't
needed
growing
it
enough,
to develop.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And once you hear that, you're like, oh, Jesus. I mean,
Yeah. Dude.
it's not what I thought it was. It's medicine.
Totally. Dude, yeah, I don't know. I'm not above taking it. If I had enough money,
What do you think it would do to us?
make us fucking shred, bro.
You think?
Probably. I mean, especially if, dude, like I'm saying, like if there is in fact a healthy way to do it, that's very, very low risk. Obviously, I'd do it.
Yeah.
You heal from injury better. You recover better. You can work out like a fucking young man.
That is nice.
You know,
That's nice.
just get huge,
I
or just even to get ripped, dude. Like you don't need to take them to get huge.
is that right?
Yeah, like these guys who are just shredded, like, and who are 40 years old. You
Yeah,
know, there's something going on there.
That's so obvious, right?
Yeah, it's so obvious,
Yeah.
blatantly obvious.
Sorry, I was looking up to see if I had another thing to say, but
No, it's okay.
I had already talked about the thing I wanted to talk about.
No, you're good, dude. We're going to our friend's apartment this weekend where they have like a spa in their building. It's like one of those buildings. And yeah, we're all just going to be like hanging out in the spa. Bro, this guy is fucking ripped.
Oh, I like that.
He's fucking ripped.
I like that
And
in a
like,
man.
I'm just going to have to take the L on this one, dude.
Yeah,
it's all good.
that's tricky.
Whatever.
It's tricky.
And you know what I'm not going to do?
What?
Talk about it in a way where it seems like I'm being a little bitch. Because that's the worst thing you can do. Like, this is a possible scenario there. We go, we have this nice spa day, we get home, and I start being like, you know, like, I don't think I could like live a life like that. That's what I'm not gonna do, bro. If anything, I'm gonna like he deserves the credit. He looks fucking amazing. He's a chill dude. It's all good, bro. We can't all look like that. There's like the idea that I could even argue that there's something that I could do to get me there is preposterous potential. Even if I were to spend 24 hours a day trying to look like that, I probably wouldn't be able to. So hats off to this guy. He looks fucking amazing. And it's going to be a fun fucking session.
I wonder what I would do. I think what I would do is I would go over the top the other way. I would make a thing of it.
You would just be like, dude, should we go on a date?
No, I'd be like, look at this guy's body. What the hell? Yo, this guy's amazing. Like I would mean it.
Dude, can I ask you something? Let me ask you something. Right? You're like, what do you eat?
How often do you skip breakfast?
Yeah.
Never?
Okay.
Time you waking up? Are you doing cardio like two days a week, or you find that wipes away the gains? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, dude, there's a guy. Oof, you know, the gym in my building is very small, and I would say 90% of the time I'm the only person in there, and then 8% of the time the only other person in there is a guy on the elliptical who is wearing pants that go with every step. Yeah, swisher. I like that
Swisher
guy.
sweets.
We nod to each other. There's a mutual agreement.
I
We
like
see
that
each other
guy.
a lot. And then 1 to 2% of the time, there is a guy who comes in who legitimately, I think I've talked about him, I think he probably has the best body that I've seen you know, in civilian life. Where
He's another guy in the gym?
We're not in a Crunch Fitness or something like that. We're not in
Gold's Gym.
Yeah, we're not in a place like that. He's not wearing an outfit to accentuate how good his body is. And he's doing lifts that are really complicated.
Really interesting.
To the degree that he's clearly been doing this for decades.
He's perfecting and
I
perfecting.
mean, he's going through progressions, I guess, for the sake of just being as strong as he possibly humanly can.
Crazy.
And not in a brutish Olympic lifting way,
Right.
but rather I want, the lower back muscles of my body to make sure that my machine is functioning at the best possible way. And he'll do like handstand push-ups
Oh, damn, bro.
against the wall. And it puts a
Jesus.
mat under his head so it doesn't smash his cranium against the
Oh,
floor.
my God.
Meanwhile, I'm in there and, do 20 minutes on the fucking Peloton and some ab stuff. And I'm really kind of just not that into weightlifting right now. But I'm exercising, but I'm just, I don't know what I'm going for, just to kind of get a sweat up. And when I see him come in, it makes me go harder, but it also makes me sad. This guy makes me sad.
Why? Because you just think that, like, you're not going to be able to do that?
I know how many months it would
Okay.
take to even sniff
Yeah.
the type of workouts that he's doing.
So is it one of those things, too, though, where it's like you guys are both in this sort of, like, 98th percentile of fitness, 99th percentile of fitness?
I mean, he's
and is it like, okay, fine.
well ahead of
Let's
me.
say he's ahead of you. But, like, is it one of those things where you maybe can't tell if I'm just sitting here sitting next to you, I'm not going to, like, be shocked at the difference between you if you're both sitting here in clothes. But it's like
Yeah, that's right.
6 months of working out to crawl the smallest inch forward. But it's like a significant, but it's like the fine tuning, the final, you see what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. And
not saying it
and,
right,
and frankly, it's what I love so much about this guy's body.
Yeah.
Is that it's not it doesn't seem like it's for show. It just seems like it's for love of the game.
Right.
That
Right.
he loves the game.
He's going to be out there till he's who knows how old.
It's all for him about adding 2.5 pound plates to either side
Right,
1 week
right,
to the
right.
next, or chaining the 45 pound plate around his waist to do 20 pull-ups instead of the 35 pound plate. It's those things,
Right.
that make him feel like age is not a factor, time is not affecting me. I am in control of my body and my life, and
Totally.
nothing can set me back.
It's crazy, bro. Very cool.
He's awesome.
Shout out to that guy.
He's the guy who one day, out of nowhere, in the gym in our building, a weight vest, a 85 pound kettlebell, and some gigantic dumbbells showed up.
Oh,
And then
wow.
this thing that's like this big rod with a ball on the end.
Oh, I've seen those.
You know those that
What's
are
that
heavy?
for?
You go around your head like
Oh,
this, and it
God.
works on like small muscles in your
Right,
arms and
stabilizing
shoulders.
stuff.
Um,
That's cool.
and I was doing rows with like one of the 65 pound 75, I think it's 75 pound kettlebell. And not to brag, but it occurred to me, I was like, I knew immediately because he was using something else. I was like, are you the one who brought these in here? And he was like, yeah, I am. And he's like, and I'm so glad to see someone else using them.
Sick.
And I was like, yeah, I didn't mean to. I didn't know if they were for like public consumption or whatever. But, I thank you for basically donating these. He's like, I'm sure nobody else is using it. It makes me happy that there's another person in here who really knows how to lift weights. And I was like, yeah, right, buddy. Yeah, right. You fucking goose.
Oh, sick.
Is that done?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
it's similar to that. He also brought I think it's a 120 pound sandbag. And I've like sat on it before to rest. And he's like, this thing's great. You can just toss it over your shoulder. And I'm like,
How old is he?
fucking no, I can't. He's probably 38,
Wow.
maybe 39. I mean, dude, I want you to see this guy.
I'd like to.
I'll try to take a picture of him the next time I'm in there.
You think he's juicing or what?
No, I really don't.
Dude, my dad thinks everyone's juicing, dude.
I'm telling you, this guy's natty.
Yeah?
He's natty because he's not he's not bulbous.
Right. And he's not like weirdly
He's not
vascular.
Bulbasaur. Yeah.
We start having those girthy veins, you can kind of tell.
Yeah. No, he's just perfect. He's symmetrical. He's lovely. He's lovely to look at. It's hard not to look at him when I'm in there. Spent a lot of
Shout
time
out to this
looking at
guy, man.
Yeah.
Doing the right stuff.
And I mean, God, he's handsome too. I wonder what he does.
Look out, ladies.
Yeah,
This guy's on the prowl.
yeah. Wears pants to work out, but they're like tight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Facts with Ryan. Facts with Ryan.
Okay, so for the Delta Lounge girl, if you're new here, the origin story of hers in episode 352. So go back to that.
Nice.
Thank you.
That is a
New
good
here.
fact.
That's really good.
Francis, you mentioned your allowance at the age of 7 was $1. So at the end of the year, you'd have $52.
Right.
Side effects of taking steroids.
So what?
include-
That was a bad fact, Ryan.
It was true.
That's true.
That's as fact as facts are.
It's as obvious a fact as you've had.
It was obvious to me, Ryan, in your defense.
52 weeks in the year.
Not everyone knows that.
I thought you were going to give us an inflation fact. I thought you were going to tell us that the rate of inflation that year, when I was 7 years
Oh,
old,
interesting.
what the real value of my money would have been, which would have been a great fact.
Okay. Side
Yes.
effects of taking steroids include difficulty sleeping, irritability, mood swings, aggression, depression, skin changes, so you could have acne, more colds, but an increased sex drive.
Wow.
And then most of the swishy sweatpants that you may have worn in the early 2000s, they're made of ripstop nylon.
Wow.
Wow. Crazy.
Based on me calling Ryan out like that, you'd have to probably guess that I'm on steroids.
Yeah, seriously. You good, dude?
All right. What do you got coming up?
St. Petersburg at the Coastal Creative, January 20th. We'd love to see you at that show. Got a bunch of dates coming up this year as well.
Nice.
Some of them are on my website right now. DC, Yonkers, Rhode Island, Atlanta, notjulio.com. What about you?
Nice. I'm in Philly, February 1st at Helium. I'm in Atlanta that Saturday, February 4th or something, at the Earl. And then I'm at Nashville Zanies that Sunday, the next day. So a bunch of dates there. And then I have a whole tour rolling out. Chicago's going fast. Get those tickets for Chicago. Minneapolis, Dallas, San Francisco, and maybe a couple more. So tickets are at francisellis.com. It's the Hero We Need tour. Can't wait to meet you guys. Really excited. Thank you so much.